Yeah, ani the thongwa de la sangwa la ani ngado chala samdi shuyu nyeming la sangmu che.
Good morning, everyone. And my name is Yeshi Sangmo.
De ta tiring tilang zu chuzu chik lak zigi tuzu chungwa de ani nye tuzu de pe ke chumbu chik zigi yu gyumzen kanyin lan di na lo la ta ngaran zu sangma ani chik sem yagi dangyang ta chik digi tola sangma bezun chiyagi tuzu jin basung zan tipi ke chumbu zigi yu dila pe ta chik gadro ge ngane ani tanglen chigi yu di sung zan di kukab nani ani lamala ne zuyo jen dili penyi sangma la ni nying takwa ne gadin chi shugu yu.
Thank you so much, Lamala and everyone, for coming for this session, 1 hour session. And for the 1 hour session, I'm going to for that 1 hour session, this is really auspicious and precious for me and for all of us that for this session, what we are going to do is like how we need to train our mind. We are going to learn how to train our mind.
De indu ane ta tila chikta labala ne kukam na de ane ta tila chedonga ne tuzu tani sangma penangi yore sangma la tuzu kye chimbu chimbu mangbo yore di sangma lu dan sha ne an tandegi nganzu la kukab di na wande la ane nyegi chikta nangbe zuma chimbe chane ane lakbar tu pime chimbe chane di cho mangbo chikne an chu tomje sangma la kadin chi shuguyus.
And as a nun and as a female, I'm going to thank all of you once again, Lamala and all of you for coming here for this session. Although you have many things to do, but in leaving all these things behind and coming here and joining us this session and giving us this opportunity, I really appreciate and thank you all.
네, 저기 중국이 차샤위나다 두스다 공사 초기 아니 배밀 체동에네다 낭주 장세기 때내 주고도 숙샤교기 공부지 텐데 차되게 유스.
As of for nunnery, it was mainly founded for the nuns, for the female to do study or like to do Buddhist philosophy studies.
근데 아니 직다 공부대 아니 계속협들로도 공사 초기 중나 디네 갑 디디오 차라다 좀 좁게 주고 저르드네 단다 파돌라 다 숨게 기하고 싶던데 차대요 아니 좀에기 대첨보지 차대요.
So our nunnery was founded in 1987 and our nunnery was started with only 18 nuns, but then now we have like 308 nuns.
근데 인도다 고난족에 아니 랍시소데 슝가봉아체 디쇼라다 직딩두기 세리다 라속에다 럽존 차사 상경게 인데 차유.
So in our institution, in our nunnery, we mainly focus on the 5 canonical Buddhist texts. Additionally, we were also taught like science, computer, English, Tibetan literatures.
근데 다디나는 럽존 고급 레니게 출라게 차샤위나다 개갑다 미릭다 지카 예와메와 가서 군에 뜻도 좀 대교지 차대 유스.
And as of our nuns, we have like nuns from all over the country.
아니 원틴데로 차대래다 안디나네다 차샤위나다 기시마 통양기 규림도지 삼담베나 다 콘서 쪽에 같은 데니 안두스타기 전적이 나로라다 기시말란 두스타 직 낭주랑 좀 치네 딘데기 통양기 고급 직계와 상부지 샤요레스.
So for the Geshema, it was like blessed by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama in 2016, and it is for the female to like receive that highest degree, just like the monks they do have.
그냥 딱 공수 가두이나래 아니 수수유기 원에 라발로빈 치약이 톱당당지 가지돌래야 아니 부도 보모래 개버요 말에 아니 구쇼주 강남 토베데 출라가 남 토그리 디송자니 두스다지 구쇼라 강요는 신두스다 기시메기 직 유림 전에 줘야지 고기도 쑥네니 대다 직 니돈 중이네 두스다 뭐수 고주 붙은데 중요레스.
So like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he always used to like advise and tell us that you have to do study and just like the monks they do, and you all have that equal opportunity. And so the Geshema degree, it was like planned and studied in 2012, and the first batch is in 2016.
원들의 체는 다 되게 규림돼야 아니 니도 중요한 거 중에 아니 당보대 등 주tuk로도 스톰바래 다 되게 규림 나래야 예라디 통야래야 아니 수수 중국 수수 나로라 아니 로좁게 주고 차비시 엔디사네 신에 아니 로시 체 엔디네 규들로 로징아데 엔디네 양 수수 중국라니라 아니 로숨도 싱아데 이게심에 규림데 된다 로니슈 쟁은 자tuk나로라 아니 신에직 통야지 된다 차도레스.
So the first batch of Geshema is in 2000 from 2016, and in order to acquire the Geshema degree, which is equivalent to the doctorate in Buddhist philosophy, we have to pass our 18-year study in nunnery. Then we will focus for 4 years in order to acquire the Geshema degree. Then after we are done with the Geshema degree, we usually go to northern part of India, Dharamshala, and receive the tantric course for 1 year. And after the 1 year tantric course, we usually come back to our nunnery and study 3 more years on the tantra.
딘데저 우체 아니 더 믹스에게 콘스트로게 되고라 믹스에게 공부 주시는 거래 아니 팅 당부 땡이든 주두글로라 땡마 당부진도스 아니 자기의 돈도야 직 댄서 자상 구쇼님도 아니 도스다 댄서 자상 친구다 제봉라 도스 나야 딘데 중레스.
So we were able to receive the certificate of the degree at Jebong Losling Monastery when the monks they were receiving the Geshe Parampat degree at the same time.
어딘데저스다 얘기 중국인다는 직타 기심에게 lok규다 마소나다 투주된데 지나는 딘데지 안디네 당은주 디링기 직타 투주데 아니 로중기 콜라토 치네인두 안디투스 모스말로 고축샤기.
So that's the very brief intro of my nunnery and the Geshema, and now we are going to focus more on the training of our mind.
언제인두다 아니 다 딜라 미 디세니 망부시 페나샤 아니 나랑기 영원에 다 직차샤위는 이게 아니 로중고 골랑아라 니리기 초에 나올 빼냠len 치네 니 디돌래야 직다 셈베기 규조이나 지 칼로 규조던도 믹스에기 만들어 통교된데 기구지 메스.
So so it is not something that I usually practice all the 8 verses of mind training in everyday life.
딘데인데 이나다 지금 나랑 지 들로 망부슈지 나로라 아니 로좀 강 제와데 따지 셈버 규주다양 고다 딘데 양양라 따오인도 아니 나랑 좀 파주 두주 딘데 지나라 당아랭기 강 심버데 파직시 딘데 제외나 아니 지 팀부지 펜도 삼다 아니 지 당도 라야기 고능다 돈도 상마 따지 펜심 랑기 치도도 스자네 아니 고급들레 마치스.
But then I've been learning how to train a mind till now in a nunnery for more than 22 years. So with having the thought of benefiting you in a smallest way, we are going to have this session of the mind training.
엔딘데 디나로라 다치 아니 가시 세워마 중앙다 다 남샤 균도 창마 다치 잉아랑게 레와라 창말로 중교콜라 지 칼라 간점 개념 용용이 아니 냠시 나니 딘데게 냥임방게 아니 잉아레게다 수바다마소나 지유 딘데인디 엔디나로라 직다 지기 되나레 엔드셰갑다 아레토레얀 직다 딱다 마데와 아니 체발라바던데 중에나 아니 디 제일 직다 디워 딜랭기 투주진지미지 아니 부토 지기 딜람네 파 So
after we are done with this session, we are going to have question and answer session. And at that time, if you have any confusion or any questions, we can have that session. And I believe many of you been training this for a long time.
Yeah. 원틴데체 안에 단단한 주다 먼저 중국의国교육야 데도스다 정말 당부차되게 네 아리나라 단다 다 다와게와데 주요스 인디 지国교육용비기다 미유조데다 미유망부지 요레 디나네 미유 당부데 먼저기 직다 조고 정말 두야 안디버를 직대와 상부샤야.
Yeah, sorry.
One thing la ni nganzu kita zo on de la mi ba chins.
So this is the very like, you know, for us, this is the very first time coming here in United States. Topotomo swaje to lemba.
Nganzu chikta mi pinzu paru la ta chik dewa ya wa thanda bedo la chik ta ene peme zuma dindela na ta kadu na nganzu la pe chik roba nan de ni topotomo mangu shi yores kadu na nganzu to la si donzu la chikta dewa kya to ya ko chaya da ne dewa sawa cha chikta zozu de ta chamba dan sewa ya ki kongbe dan ya chido mi mangu ngo shin topo mangu cha go ya zo mi yu de la mi pa chins.
So like this is the very first tour from a nunnery in here, United States. And like we are here to repay for the people who've been supporting us for like a long time and also like to build a new relationship.
Tende ane chikta ngarang chasha na Geshema jire Geshema de ngarang ki lobchon che shukya shuchine an chigola Geshema ke koko raya ra go mar disunza thanda pe to khonscho ka tin la de an dile chikta thungye ro ram na ni khasa kone da chik thobo thong mo ye sasang ke ka tin la de ni koko de thoware disunza ni sangma la ka tin che shu yus.
So I was able to achieve the Geshema degree, but it is not only done by me. I have received lots of like, you know, support from the other people, like, you know, from His Holiness the Dalai Lama and all those like sponsor and donors. So I really appreciate you all.
Ne che ane da nganzo ta lo chung yin du ta lo chung la jidang ge ta lo chung dang la mangu shi yu na ne ta tanda chi kap su pa wa nganzo chi ta lam rin ne lo chung shi re ane chun chung ne sung ge ta chi shung mangu shu ne sung ge re na ta chi lam rin du ma shi sha ne an tin de shu ya ge che shi de wu ji yus.
So for the mind training, we have different from different texts, and for this, the 8 verses of mind training, it comes under the Lamrim.
And indu and tuzu dan karina da chik lamrim dan kasukune sungyo da chik tunda nyingbu dudu chasang ma duje and kwadewa da and tuzu chirame nila and yamlin kie dewo dinde indu tiki tunda doktor chasang ma duje and sholoka kiegna ne da chik tusma and sungyagi and tapshi na dusha yorestila.
So we have like 8 verses, right? So the 8 verses are like compiled from the Lamrim text for us to like learn in a very short time.
Ani dusta kora sung na nyen de imina da chik ani langru thamba dus kishi langru thamba dus chagore kora ina da chik ani thurap chukchik nang to ala thurap chukchik che ani thonglo de chik tong kyame ngap chung ngap shi lo lan dus thong ba chung shas.
So this one is being like teached by Geshe Thamba, and he was from 11th century, and he was born in the year of 1854.
Inde indu ane tanda lochon tsike ma de chikta ane shungle ma sung shakyo dinde chikyo ane mayimba ane ta kishi korang rangi nyamshi nanje no korangi thula chungba de ane tusta ma nyam nyungu to ne sungyo chi tus chagidos.
So these 8 verses are not just the 8 verses that compile from the from Lamrim. These are not just 8 verses which just compiled from the Lamrim teaching, but these 8 verses are something that Geshe Thamba had been like used in order to train his mind.
Ane wande indu ta lamrim nane ma dusta lo chondan de she indu ane kiwu chungun dan tumuwe lamgirimba lo changzu kiwu dingda tumuwe lamgirimba lo changzu ane kiwu chimbo lamgirimba lo changzu lane ta chik ane lo changi ke khangsang lo chomba na dinde ta kiwu ram jing dinde che ne sung yores.
So for the people like in Lamrim, there are like different stages, like for the beginner or for the intermediates, intermediates, and for advanced.
One thing into that and also any chicta kiu chimbo gilamla rimbeglo chanza tene mache any delay and chicta any kundemanga dungu on a lodge and zutan tam shenyamje you on a lodge and zuche and the amata chindu tashenyamju on a lodge indula any ran jinzingi yon Gotumane Sambata, Shen Jinzingi, Yunde, Gotumane Sambalan, Tatusma Chiklo Chandangi, Saje Manguji Yuenane, Marantula Niwa Kobata, and Tintu Chikanema to Chayache.
Ranchenzin the Hali.
Rang Jinzingi, Yon, Gotumane,
Ranchenzin Meose.
Sache Kurangiming.
Ranchenzin Tanki Kali Meose, the Kandidly can be Ranchenzin go to Manaki.
Ranchenzin, Yon, Gotumane Samba, Shen Jinzingi. When you shoot in a team, such a only that such a to the Malo Chanda sharing ground, such a within the Kanama trains. The third only. I mean, when they do that, Lo Changdan de Leanta to Sma sharing do Changdan de la Chilo get that Chilab Lala make it Chilab Shuni and the Lord Zangma Suwata, Chiktulo Duran and Shitawatawa, Tindigi Changzu the Mayimbache, Chanda you do, and the Rangi Sim Dini Ra and a Chikta digging all a yada chick and Chanjuki Simda, Yingji Chimbo, and a Dongi Tokpegi, and a Logi, all a Lokana Yaki again to some Tangwe Chagdus.
So when we were for this for the mind training, it is not just just like how we cleanse our dirts, like when we wash our clothes in order to clean it, but then it is more of like how to cultivate love and compassion and bodhicitta in ourselves, bodhicitta in ourselves.
What in the Jochi, any Jongdan de Nache, that in the any deep Yurin Nalola Samdan de Tango, Lochang, Olaya, Chik Susugi, Tatik the Masonana, Mone Namshakun the Susugi Toyanalaya, and Ranchin de Katsi Susula, Chik Kunguti in Bada, and a Shen Chinzi, and a Susula Katsi, Kevsang, Segi, the Chik, and a group the Masonana, Guta Masona, the Chagi or de, and the Susugi Chik, the similar Chawaya Kachumbuchik Chagdus.
So we always have to keep in mind that having self-centeredness always give you a very bad in a way. But then if you put like others before self, then you will always get benefit from that.
One day, that the name of the mother, Shung Koran Lojon Sikeme, Singos, that in my Gozuay, and it. Dane Simji Tamjela, Ishi no Lela, what to be some of what Tadoche Zimbo shores, and Sholoka Tangudon de Dane, Shinula, that Dale Adela, Ninganzu, Namsha Yundo, that Susula Chicta, Tayoko Kumshio, that in the Beneshune Mashin Duta, Chidangita Adela, Tala Nigatati Chuseg Udela, and a Kasangita, Chugeta, Lanantachi, and a Tanya do you a tal and to start Tachusamangushi or is.
So we are going to go for the first stanza, so which says that by thinking of all sentient beings as a more precious than wish-fulfilling jewels for accomplishing the highest aim, I will always hold them supreme. Clear?
Timbe yuenane ta nganzo tanda kapsu phabe ta ne simje thamje la shiwe ta de ane ta Yeshi Sangmo ne sene tusta thanye de yuwe ta ane Yeshi Sangmo to khoya resta.
So in this I, it refers to the person itself. For example, me, Chimi, or me, Yeshi Sangmo.
Ndi chene ane ta Yeshi Sangmo dila ane mangyu nange ta tanye be simje thamje di ane Yeshi gi no legi ane sa che wa ta ring dan che wa khechen ba resta.
So like for me, Yeshi Sangmo, I am going to consider that all the sensations being are more precious than the wish-fulfilling jewels.
가르치는 개체와 자고를 다시 되는게 나네 다 되는체와 만들어야 상계 이 공방 되는체와디 아니 심지를 때는 두고 와저샤 디손자 심지인데 이시노를 하고 개체와레스.
Because like in order to achieve the highest aim, which is the nirvana, it can be only done by depending on the sentient being.
근데 인도 아니 나랑도 지대라 타고나라 아니 이식이 노라디기 아니 곰바세기 요레 테바세기 요레 우바세기 요레 아니 딘데기 딱 보란라 누버 요레스 아니 딜레야 아니 셰 심진 탐지디 파가레스.
So like for the wishful fulfilling dreams, it is more of like, for the time being happiness. Like wish fulfilling dreams, it can be like used for in order to quench the thirst. But then in order to like achieve the highest aim, which is the nirvana, it can be only done by like doing something for the all sentient being.
딘데인데 아니 시 노부디기 시티강기 직다 노롱주 라소베기 아니 대화 두야레 펜도 지그레미쇼 아니 다와 담제 김베 고마 상게기 고만 더베아디 테르토고 마레스 상게 고만데 따수티그레라나 심진기 티그레스 티순다 아니 심진디 예시 노레 학벨 학바레스.
So like for the wish fulfilling dreams, it can like only help us and give us like temporary happiness for this lifetime. But then for like in order to like be away from this samsara, we can only achieve that kind of ultimate happiness only by depending on the sentient being rather than just like wish fulfilling dreams. That's why we have to like hold more dear to the sentient being than the wish fulfilling jewels.
이시기 노부디 다두스 빼체 아니 자연들라 이시기 노부디라 아니 고란 야자 첨불라샤 아니 고란 직다 장마수 가르치고 있는 디치웨나 아니 고란게 링단 지니다 직 총장에는 마서나 총잡 딘디체웨는 콜콤바세 디바세 디치요레 디마체웨는 고란 직다 이시기 노디 아니 답산난다 초간산주도 샤샤웨는 아니 시행기 된주야 파샤네 고란 이시 노후 인베기 아니 링단디야 셴네 세토고 마레스.
So like for the wish fulfilling gems or like jewels, if we keep it and like in a very good space and like if we give that wish fulfilling jewels of kind of a value, then we can get something from it. But then if we didn't give like any value for that jewels, wish fulfilling gems, then we can get nothing.
딘데인도 심진데야 아니 셴 심진데 자와침보레 시나야 디 임바데 아니 가람주 더 진베기 유 추도 쇠베 유 아니 도스 파진주고 유도 키도 버치고레게 시티마 키바이나 아니 된초 두야 파샤 아니 수수기 직다 심진임베 된조기 된이가와 임베데야 아니 뭐 송토고 마레스.
So that the wish fulfilling jewel is more of like example of how we need to like treasure the sentient being. Like if we don't really hold close and like treasure the sentient being, then we won't be able to like practice our 6 paramitas. So if we were not able to like practice the 6 paramitas, then we won't be able to achieve the highest realm, which is the nirvana.
딘데인도 아니 심진데다 자체와 임바데 아니 직라와 좀 뭐임바 수수기 삼는다 리베 제제 자체와 임바데 수수로 ngochwa chene ngochwa 데라 아니 뒤딱도 아니 제바 짐바 돌라마다 보고 링당 요와지 엔다 수수 치고레스.
So not just by saying that I value that person, but then you have to like analyze and you have to really value it by like putting it into actions.
어딘데 저지다 아니 지간 당보기 된디 어딘데체 단이 어디 아니 간도 수단 쪽배지 단이 권라면다 신신라 선바타고 초도 집어 점버쇼스 다 간도 수다도 강라는 뒤줄로 가야체 수라는 쪽제기 심진로 가야체 아니 단이 꾸일래 아니 대다 쪽제기 심진 대다 꾸일래 아니라 마왔다고 그랬어.
So like that's all for the first stanza, and now we are going to like second verses, which is like considering myself as the lowest among all. Whenever I am in company of others, may I regard myself as the lowest of all, and from the depth of my heart cherish others as a supreme.
딘데인데 아니 다 ngala tokse ki simjin de la ani rala gawe taw thumba simjin to thugre ani taw ma thumba to thugre ani phame simjin ya to thugre khanja sitan to ko ina ya ani dida susu turu yundu nga thile meba yin sampe somebody ane khadu na nye na drona tuna khadu na di somebody susu nga shushu ke thoga chigores.
So like so whenever or like whoever we across with and whomever we like connect with or like have that kind of like interact with, that person might be weaker or like superior than you, but then you always have to have a thought in yourself that I am lovers. Like whenever I meet anyone, I am going to consider that I'm lower than that person.
Indu ane ta shenle nga mawa tabe gyumjin kare lan tang ngaranzu sangma ane chikta lingyi namba chiya ge nga zu namju yogi miya nya de tisunda namju piju danje shenla nga mawa tago we gyumjin kare mawa ta na ane ngala kare pen thoya do kyepsan kare do dinde samdamba ina ane shenle rang mawa tawa ina ane rang la nga ge gi mares ane kengba gi mare kondu gi mare shenla tangwa gi mare disazangi ane ko nuya ya ane ra memba taya de choto gyuba resta.
So like why we need to like consider ourselves as the lovers among all the people whom we like came across is that if we really like consider ourselves lovers among the person that we interact, there will be less like self-centeredness, the ego, and the hatred for that people, the jealousy.
아니 직다 벤 션 자가나 레나 다 직다 낭주 다세 조디 안에 차든데 직다 할라마 라서 한데 직 방보 통마 지엔도 남산 직까 류기다 류디 나네 마슈디 강바 차고린데 두스 강발라 라바 참여 둔주기 아니 조조데 수수기 다 나게 자야게 아니 둔데기 다 미고 직된 거레스.
So like for example, like in India, like the Buddhism itself is started from India, right? So like in from India, we can see that like when the junior ones, when they meet the senior ones, they usually pay regard by touching their feet, which is like another way of like telling that, or like I am like considering myself as the lowest among all.
근데 다 연결 디간을 삼단지 아니 마와타네 아니 마와타나 콘동아 예 중그레 디사 마임바 마와타베기 김진 코라라 ngalegi 코초기 임베기 김진 요르벨은 요르 요와디 먼저 단다 제오 맞아 통고 말디 예버도 ngal레 콜라 ngal레 메베 윤딘 콜로 요 코초기 임베디 수수 통바지 배준식으로스.
So like the thing is that so everyone has some wisdom, which is something we don't really have. And we always have to try to find that wisdom in that person. If we don't really try to find that wisdom in that person, then we don't really know what wisdom that he has, right? So we have to try to find the wisdom, and we have to keep in our mind that there is something good in himself, which is something that I don't have. And that's how we have to like consider other as a superior than you.
가사 상말이야 수수기 니버멘저 요도 아니 nganzugi chimotu ba ani khasa shimbagi chigire khasa shimbala ani ngaranzule chokpe yunde khatse gogo yores pecha shawena the sanjo zangmo sunyi jiwena di ani yunde chokjela ngaranzu tagogo res khachena ngado jigena sanjo zangmo su mimangbu yonse chigla midunzula sanjo zangmena la susu chapsanda dindegi de togo mare di de sanjo zangmo sunyi dunzu degi yores dinde sunza digi yunde ndi nyegi ani yunde chokto gyuwajela ki delo kubata ani tsewa chiwe yunde jire special
so everyone has their own potential and different good qualities. For example, like the one who cleans the toilet for everyone, for the public toilet, this is something that I cannot do, but this is something that person can do for the others, right? By cleaning their toilet. So we always have to find that everyone has their own kind of like good qualities, and we have to like value that person and respect that person, and like regard that person as a superior than you, because this is something that you can do, but that person can do.
아니 원 딘드게 다 지금 저기 니버도 아니 생기 연된 통고야 돼 나란줄라 캡산래야게 아니 자기 당보직 차고랬다.
So like so we have to try to find the good qualities in that person, the other person, in order to like benefit yourself.
원딘데 저지 아니 당은 저 시간 숨버들 두게 안딘데 인도 다 딘데게 수수게 냠술렌지 연들라 아니 줄람 군도란 줄라 도쟁이 뭐 이마다 다시 말어 주야나 전다도네 똑벌 쇼 스타 줄람들이야 아니 직 류게 류용아 잉아 류용아 이숨 아니 직 두줄라 자유나 아니 사와 조와 녀와 똑바 안딘데게 줄람데 아니 되군도 니 아버치고레스.
So this is about the second stanza, second verses, and we are going to for the third verses, which is avoid afflictions as soon as they arise. In my every action, I will watch my mind, and the moment destructive emotion arise, I will confront and avoid them strongly, as they will destroy both myself and others.
텐데 다 텐데 이용아 예숨 아니 조와 녀와 도바 숨들라 아니 가르타고래 라웨나 다 템바단 시신에 되니 아니 디 요모 가정스 시키기도 랑게 가르치기도 디 차서 지 하고디 인지민지 템바단 시신에 때문에 아니 하고와 저그레스.
So in these verses, it's started with like in my every action, right? So the every action is of the mind, body, and speech. And in another way, we can also see like when we eat, when we walk, and when we sleep, we always have to be mindful and like inspect our mind.
텐데스 다윤도 아니 템바단 시신게 따네 다 아니 되자시다 라소가 다 녀모베 원도 주기도나 아니 다가라라디 ngolson 토와차 계시 ngolson 기기도나 고 투주링부 랑기 귤라 마네와 아니 슉첨부 작부치는 고바 메워서 그래스.
Okay. So like when we have to be mindful and like inspect our mind, and whenever like something negativities emotions arise in yourself, you always have to try to like avoid it right away, or like in the way of very strongly. And if you can, you can let that negative emotion in you for a long time.
텐데스 따윤들라 아니 디 가르치는 다 교부파 메워서 그래 코네는 가르 코 되자시단 디모 라서와 랑이 귤레 끼찍찍 대외나 디 대외기 아니 대우도 가르라나 랑 아니 매버 수요마제 신야 매워 수니기 아니 자와지 차거를 디순다 아니 장신 이가라 되네 뭐 가디위나 되다 남바군도 먹어와지 그래 디순다 디 아니 직좀바 작부체네 바 매워서 그래스.
So like all the afflictions, like for ignorance, hatred, and jealousy, if that kind of like all the negativities, emotions, and the afflictions that arise in yourself, for even for a second, it will not only destroy you, but then for the others too.
근데 Taures, ani dia da tembadan shishin gudu se madeo ina ani kasaku lele suzuki sempati kawatu gui me kora hamago ani lugi karichi gui me hamago ngagi karichi gui me hamago yigi kawatu gui me hamago ina ani ne chikta kare suzuki debe dewada ani chanjuki semda nyingji chenpo dende zomje ani drone shine lakdon dusta chik doyagi kurimdi ani kadiyo ina kugab topki maresta.
So like if we are not able to be mindful and inspect our mind and how it is working, like when we eat or like when we walk and when we sleep, then we won't be able to achieve what we were meant to achieve, which is the nirvana.
ngaranzu da temba shishin yi ngaranzu lu nga yi sung sung dan de ngazu do langa la du ani kiran do chogres lo go chönda la den do ani lo go chönda la den ka chi do dimension ngazu temba shishin dige lo ge chönda la den ani su sung ge chiwa nan shin temba shishin yi ge ngaranzu dunde sung gores da.
So like for example, like when we like like when we walk and like we have like red light and yellow light and like green light, right? It makes us like when we need to stop and when we need to drive, right? So like that's how we need to train our mind, and that's how we need to like see and inspect how our mind needs to work on.
Yo tinte ro she ta onzo danda di sumba de la di woga de la tru sha yin da ani di ondi zenda to ne to ko sho la de la ni chi tu da namba ku du ka du ina le ku go nga le chi ta ding ye ku chi gi me san be gi lu nga chang me gi be shu pa ya po ya de la ni ko jo do sta.
So like in the third stanza we have like zenda dong deopasho means like may I strongly confront them and like avoid them. It is like from now on I'm not going to do that way. May I not be able I'm not going to like yeah.
When the literature that the Ogazigande and the ranching in Bessim that the don't have one no the engine that than Tawada Yawaga Jinzin shores. That Nazuki Yamlin Chi and do Logojong that the Chores in a Dichive Yurim Simjin come down Mobaman Nazoba. Then you do and then Zamzang rushing in Bessimjit in the Tayungre and the rushing in Bacha and Simjin the Chicta and it's Zamina Pishawina. That's a billing like Dong so ye. 아니 직탑만 좀 먹을 아소가 된데 수 균딩기 꿀롱 개장 거라네 된데 치대에 간사 리치 아니 양 간사 리치다 지게 간다 수수수수기 된저 밀리도 돌아다 된단 tum바 치마 tum이 리치 다 리치라네 직다 내 나자라 소바다 직대 공라 소바 동이게 간라 동이게 내 된데기 간사도 아니 수수를 채용 그랬다.
So like this is about the third stanza, and we are going for the fourth verses, which is whenever I see beings who are wicked in nature or those overwhelmed by negativities and suffering, I will cherish them as something rare, as though I had found a priceless treasure.
다 온디라 엔디올라 직다 동이망고 통행이 심지요라 다 돈주 수수기 통용들라 아니 딜라 카르첼라나 디치고레스 가래 콜레소 딜라 수수기 다지 아니 이바카와 인심제 두두 가두이나 니기 말했다 드링이 뭐디 베케침부 인자 tum부 인라네 아니 지 우불라른 지대단 채웠다 얘기 아니 수수로 전화 된고레스.
So like whenever you came across with the people who had really bad character or like, unpleasant character, or like someone who had been like suffering for a long time, you always have to like consider that as a rare gem, which is hard to find.
Dini ko imbeche ta dinen zu tushtam dura anti wo de da dinde simbache ke yombe kanla ya dila ni dala shinge chato ki shigola so merik be kyongarang gel lemba ta ke ga shele be shos ani ya simjin kar kala ni chigrala ta chi rangi mache bala chesula ne ta dungi ani sheni 아니 심해봐 견주 친이들 망부직 심지 독식을 갑티가라야 아니 디 경가대 랑길랭 개가대 셀 부구레스다 냠네 진도.
And the fifth stanza is that when others out of jealousy, whenever someone out of envy treats me unfairly with scolding, insult, and more, may I accept the loss upon myself and offer the others to victory. So sometimes we might across with the people who like feel jealous about you and who like talk bad about you, like someone who abuse you or slander or scorn you. You always have to try to take yourself as a defeat and like offer the victory to that person.
And the Indu, the Simji de Te Indu, Tangshu de la Simjin de la Ne, Chambatan Zewa Yingji, Taku de la Dusha de la Kutungi, Yusagi to Yingje, Ko, the Yumontu Sungi Yame Piagi to Kola Rawayo Mare Samje, and Ko Chambatzeve Kyo, Ko, and Marangi Kateja said the Kansan de Mare, Ko Dojashi and Timures and Timi Kepachi Shengwede, Pikachimures.
So when you like came across with that kind of person, like someone who does bad for you, you always have to try to cultivate love and compassion to that person by thinking that even though he or she wants happiness just like we do, but then he's cultivating a very bad karma and try to like cultivate love and compassion to that person. And
what did you class
sorry, and like whatever he or she is doing for you in a very bad way, he or she, that person is under the influence of the afflictions, and she's just doing from being clouded with the afflictions.
내가 다들 단다 지금 족보들 드야인 다들 땅 딘데 지고를 딜레 개치에 가상 간데 두고래라나 다 알라 다기 펜다 버려와 간식이 신도 미릭녀체나 신이 담바다와 줘서 랑게 인진 두둘라 펜바다 콜라 제외 깡데니 레와 같이 친구직 차니 가상게야 안 갑갑레 라라 신도 미릭바야 치시기레스.
So like we are going to the 6 verses. Even someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes harms me very unfairly. May I view that person as a true spiritual teacher. So like we might cross with some people who are jealous for you, and even like people whom you have helped, or like the friends whom you have helped, they might also like disappoint you in many way. But then even though like even when they treat you in the that kind of like bad way, but then you have to like consider that person, that friend, as a spiritual teacher for you.
근데 아니 딘데 간산데 아니 신이 담바다 그래스 신이 담바 가전에 신이 담바다 그래는 다 간산 디기 아니 긴체는 가 소바 개념내를 죽투소 가 진배 냠내를 죽투소 대달라서 버데 가 파진 주게 냠내를 죽투소 디 주버데 코라랑기 까지 야치기 삼베게네 로장고 그래스.
So yeah, we always have to treat that kind of person as a spiritual leader, because of that person we can like practice the passion and generosity and other 6 paramitas.
근데 다 딘데 가상아 유디네 티도 nga 디틸레 되기네 심바절로 두기라네 직로 장당고라 삼다네 디빈노두제 딱 아니 디 직딘디나 기차에 주고 가라 유는 조이나 아니 가상 태용 그러면서 도서 개구지요 말했어.
니 테나 야라르게 딜리다 요알레다 테나 야레스.
다 온디 인디 아니 딜레 페나 가르라나 테베갑수다 알레 온디 냐냐냠도 라쇼게 아니 디 수수랑이기 아니 지 콜라파 둔다치야 소바다 디기 유일의 키야데 키치슈레스 디인도 가르라나 단당은 저 준주갑서야 아니 다 게세시월레든데 송고레스 네 심투야데 랑이기 심바데 두고르면서 셴게 아니 심바투야게 지기다 랑게 심마 두고 있는 셴디 두두고 말레스 가이라나 나란주 직다 간다질라다 사자 간대질로 조고이나 세마기도 조고이나 세마만 속고대 수수랑게 한고라 세마 까투니기 자기 야고지 준슈스 아니 갈라나 세팅되다 고여도 등이 고야 갈라랑 한디 섬시 요베나 세팅 탐제 요다 자스디 디나시 계란게 셈버게 아니 딘데게 간산 찍라 카티자 니나자는 계란게 로톱디 간대지 이나래 아니 소복금 두니지 차용그레스 니쇼 두스 유여베나 유튜브에 요 말레스.
So like rather than avoiding that person who is doing bad for you or like mistreat you in a different way, you can just like try to overcome it by cultivating and love and compassion to that person. Just like we need to like train our mind, and we have, for example, like when if we are walking on the road filled with thorns, we have to have a good shoes to not get infected or like fit, right? So that's how we need to train our mind, like just rather than avoiding that person, try to cultivate love and compassion to that person in order to train our mind, so that we might meet another person who will mistreat you in like same way. So at that time, since we have trained our mind, it won't affect you that much.
어디들지라 공부 싫어지 아니 엔다 심바데 도나무선 교와이 펜데만은 꿀로 마이엔다 동이고 사웬 달랄렘바쇼 추도 중년에 차고래. 주중이 sense. 근데 인도 다 디강게 간조기 직다 냠소렌자 되다 아니 강 좋은 대다데 아니 펜데 많은 거고 많이 있는다 동요 사연 단련 버쇼스 다 수술랑 대화단지 강 요데 아니 만유난게 타다니 비심지라 파지 디 동예라 속바 아니 수수랑게 디안직 렌당게 아니 직 군주르 대양다 직신에 게다 침보 마임바 아니 사완 치네 랭과레스 가질라나 사완 치야 되냐 고바 망보여레스 아니 바제 마용와 아니 직된 추게 원도 만도와 아니 딜라데냐 신기 직다 소소노 마사와제 딜라 직딩민도 니딩민도 라네 셰야 니바 마사웨 인디게 케발라데니 안딘디 치고레스다.
So like we are going to for the 7 verses, which is taking and giving. In short, both directly or indirectly, may I offer every happiness and benefit to all my mothers and secretly take upon myself all the harm and suffering of my mothers. So like why we need to take the suffering and harm of the all sentient being upon ourselves in the very like in the secret or way, and is that like in order to not get or face any obstacle in the way. And like for like if I do something good for her, like if I tell everyone that I'm doing this for her, then in some way like people will like talk many things, and that talk might be an obstacle for you to do like another good thing for the other people. And also another thing is that many people will talk about her too in different way, right? So it won't be good for that person and for yourself. So like it is better for you to take the harms and suffering and offer all the merits and benefit for all the sentient being in the very secret way.
어딘데 저지 니디 다 파 동예 파 대화 파지 동예 취지 조조게 다시 또 제야요 말데나 선배기 결조들라 아니 가두이나라 nga sagoto nga tunggoto nga dewato sambe기 사제들이야 시엔 대고도 시엔 통고도 원디 sambe기 사제들도 지와게 하랬다.
So in this sense, taking and giving is not like I be you and you be me, but then it is more of like how you like perceive, and like rather than always taking yourself in the first, you have to try to put others first. Like rather than thinking only about yourself, by I need to eat that, I need to drink that, you should put other first by thinking that she needs to drink that, she needs to eat that.
어딘데 저지다 지간 개와데네 다 군견 주게 예도고 팀에 마베신 추는 규모시벨로 심해 지원해 주셨다 강게 냠낸 대다고 아니 직된 주게 팀에게 말해봐 아니 추는 규모시벨로 대신이게 다 산게게 대신이 시베 이시기 아니 추다 지난 그 탐제 아니 랑신데 규만한 시레스다 디인도 규마데 페센당 아란조 디기 직된 디나라 네데니기 심제든 주기다 직 네단다 치단 조단 디 조단 tunzu 아니 다 규만한 시레스.
So the 8 verses is that I will learn to keep all this practice untamed by thoughts of the 8 worldly concern. May I recognize all phenomena are like illusion, and without any clinging gain freedom from bondage. 딩게 군이 센서 당분이 군이 라르스다. 다니 대다 군견 최기 길라데 군이 비시가르스다. 니 탄다 쿠줄을 디직볼로세 인지도네 가림바.
알레온데 아니 근데 다 디기에게 아니 직 간들래
대다 군기 최기 라이스
군게 주게게 또 팀에 마베시 쇼는 규모시벨로 심해 지원해 주쇼스. 네레다 대다 군냐는 단단 디 강게다 직 냠낸 쇼라다. 아니 냠낸 대다 군 아니 직된 주게게 원도 만들어 치고레스.
So the first so the 8 stanza, it is said that may all the things remain undefiled by the sense of 8 modern concern. So the 8 worldly concern is the happiness versus suffering, fame versus insignificance, praise versus blame, and gain versus loss.
아니 덴바 메바 시베게 로타 추는 규마 시벨로 되게 아니 ngaranzuta tangzinda marikbe eni chiwale thwebala labgugres eni labrasholane molom gyagures.
So, and we always have to like pray that may we all be able to see everything as an illusion, and may we all be like free from this bondage.
아니 어딘데 저제다 ngarangi 간치기 니버지 ngarangi 간티 추어데 아니 딘데지라 아니 삼샤이 엔디나놀라다 니기 투투디 딱다지 야고지 디치마소 케시 투투 요에나네 엔디간라다 직세오 메와다 하마고니 투벌던데 소고요나 엔티워트닝gel람네 세야체 안 투투 메와에나네 엔공게 메와체 드링다 딘데시샤이.
So like this is all about the 8 verses of mind training with the time, and like if we have like a little bit more time, we can have the question and answer session, like if you have like any confusion. But then
within the so chishu ngarangi dinene ke chishu ngarangi chidanti shungdi pe ke chimbo yimbene ngarangi nyere choya nalo chik drive ge ngone ani chik endochine ma shuya ge tepsi chekyo jins.
And I tried my best, like to like give you these 8 verses of mind training, which is something I really treasure, and which is something that I practice in day-to-day life.
You are in charge of your own time, so as much you call it, okay? But we do have a little bit of time for question.
Yeah, but then we are going to check, and
Yeah,
do we have to like finish by 1?
It's up to you.
Ale.
You know, we're here. We're here all day.
Ale, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, ale. Jinji tudu tamu chawam duya. Ane gera tudu si gera yin la sumare. And this nazo tuwati linchi san nazo nilinga yul.
Pikawa chung tuzu nambala tisun zane chikta ngarangi dinalo la tindi no ta chukba da mangushi yore sewa meba ya mangushi yore tisun zane di kuranzu ngone ya chewa tilin lamne seyage kogom na wakatin ches.
Thank you. And like, of course, you might all have like some confusion and questions, and we can have like, maybe 15 minutes. Is it okay, Lamala?
Yeah, of course.
Tama chunga slow rage. Yang ada minggu gap matora.
Di dikit ta kuranzu ti seat su.
Yeah.
Tuchina.
Time to raise your hand.
And thank you, Geshema, for coming and for your explanation. I don't have enough wisdom to understand my own confusion about your talk. I had a couple questions about your Geshe degree and your nunnery. May I ask those?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I was curious, did you have to do your exams like the Geshes did and defend your degree as with the Geshes, or since you were the first one, how did you do your test?
Yeah, tanda yomare again, tanda lojonggola yomare tachira, dila tiokoela shushu tim tak kornla shita shomare shumelas. Ime tio karikuna ti ane gombada Geshema kola kuna ti reala sumana ya. Ani Geshema duinala shomare ta Geshema tema tambo kena skap tema tambora tema tambo ti kapla tanga so ushola ti sunyam ti tanga so kare jobada ande du che nga so yijita ande du che dodra kande relas.
Ale onde mare nganzu chikta zuba tanya da igze tanya tunzu ani zuma ran tangures tigita yuglengi de ani tensa sungena ne da pare chene onde kusho tangores ani konsa chogita tensa chog thasana ya thasangi kishi lo manguchi thongyola ani chaki nangores dinandu chaki nganzu ya ani zuma ya de nyamdu chaki na res.
So like during our examinations for the Geshema, we don't really have like any debate or with the monks, but then we have with the nuns. Like we have our own like examination, like writing debates and everything. But then we are being examined by the Geshes Paramba from the other great school. like
Fantastic. The other question I had, do you let Western householders visit the nunnery and study there for short periods of time?
ge ane kumbala yomare da chigini mitande tutu tundun chila ane mengyo mikya phali je lobjung chingin de yoro alas
다 계산된다 요새라 아니 로준 지가 레니 비겔 유림 간데스 되나 디기레스라 로준 지에니 아니 징이 등이나 아니 지네 디기레스 아니 징이 마트는 수수기 직 저용 저도 마서나 뇽니 아니 야 수수 로준 지네야 도나 디기레스 단데살이나 직 지게 아니 마뉴온 직도 로준 지 로지마도 된데 있는데 대외 안된데 기시면 돈이야 요레스 아니 규례 망고지된데 통용 그래 디순장은 종원이 딘딘 고급 두두고 유스
so like few months ago we have one like a female from Taiwan de kanire Taiwan from one Taiwanese lay person she came to a nunnery and like she's starting right now and like if that person or like if any one of you want to like go over there and like study you can for like period of time. And also like if you also want to become a nun you can also become a nun too. Like we have one like a nun from Taiwan she is about to graduate and like attend the Geshema degree. And for you all, like we have nuns from not only from Tibet, although we all are from Tibetans, we have nuns from Tibet, we have nuns from Bhutan, Nepal, from India, from Taiwan, Singapore, South Korea, France, United States. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we have one nun from like United States. We have like 3 nuns from United States, and the senior nun is like, she was a lawyer, but then she became a nun. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your talk, and just kind of thinking about when there is hurt or harm done by others or yourself, and kind of repeating the scriptures like it's the 8 prayers, correct? Yeah. Is that enough, or are there other type of general or specific type of techniques to practice with yourself or mantras?
You mean not only this one, you want other?
Or if there are other related, types of scripture or practices.
Lojong teacher so tang zo mi and the samba so tongne khandi chime mi tu zala samba da so la gang samba tongne khandi chime lojong di member shenda den yo royal shomare ena zo menga than de yo mare and do yo royal
alele lojong shimba pe mangu yo resra lojong tunden da lojong ni me usi la so ko ta mangu shi yo res shung janga do ina
ani menga do yo
다 맹아라는 저 다래 수수기 직 잠반인지 제다 직 배나 수수기 로종네 잠바자와 된데 직 얘기 도고요나 직 제레스기 송나 타나 디레스 도메 송나 타나 디오레스 조조도 수수기다 직 미버데 안가이기 로라 종다 되고도 잠바께고도 아니 저와께고도 된데기 직 미제 디돌라 배준치 어딘데로다 조조 원딘데로레스다.
Yes, we have like different texts and scripture. Not only this one, but yeah, I don't really know how to translate it into English, but then like after we are done with it, we can like search that text for you. And like for the mantra, like you can do the mantra of Avalokiteshvara, Om Mani Padme Hum, and you can also do the mantra of Doma, Green Tara, like Om Taritu Taritu Soha, but then you have to aim by thinking, you have to aim by thinking that may I be able to like accumulate love and compassion to the people and also for yourself when you do all that kind of mantras. Yeah. And
디갈레 요다 직 안데 숭아사야다 딘디디 개주모 임바체 아니 직 딩도 디 인진알로다 베 대망고 베규셔는데 순서 돈도 수수로제 네 직다 제가 있는 베 캡산 첨부요 베요리스.
Yeah. So like doing mantra is important. But then it is more important for you to read about how to train a mind in many books. Like we have like many books which has been like translated into English, which is easy to find. And I will help and try to get the name of the text for you after we are done with.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in for your talk, Geshema. I have a question on verse 5. I have right here. Whenever someone out of envy does me wrong by attacking or belittling me, I will take defeat upon myself and give the victory to others.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's just in America, but I know a lot of people would have a problem with that idea of letting somebody harm them and just accepting that without standing up for themselves in some way. So I understand there's an aspiration, but can you speak to accepting the defeat, but not allowing someone to continue to harm you?
Mhm. Kendelas nembang ngas to atanda.
ngawala se ho
Suzu short konga suzu che and nembang ngas.
ngawadre
Kala chengi tato ge shegula su miri pa konga rangla lemba thang kika shen la biwa sho la shomare. Ande that's suzu ande this kale ko ra tang so arena de ande nanda shomare. Ane nganzo di che disamba suzu konga lene yomare. Ta mi shen da de tobra mi shen da de zo ta to ande la ora da. Ine mi shen da de gone ande ma che ga jing nganzo khande chore las. Paratan keo mare la je ko sha sha na ko ya Jobade nima ni somya mishinda jila cherura mishinda de to putangira di mi jobade khande mi also urlaisham
ondila kanda di tiwa akudura kalana nusa nganzuki hopta kalata di tindiro chi yoresra ina dina lola chik zu de gobada gyumzin che gores ra de ribe pesamun tanje ane pachuwa diyan da chik ko goba gyumzin kanze shi namju pechu ni chudu tingma chik chidu ane susu ngo cawo che ni chudu ngo cawo chudu la kogi da kumshiro de tenda maso nana dila te yondu la ane chik nima takpa dindi pe chingi di pe ta nyung res Tende chingi jora tanda dila kandes kapte chagore lara susu ki semne nalo la shisa kiyo jora ta dili kogo ikana la zu pe shuga da uchi lewe da pe to shawe ne shuwe na ta dila kondo masawa che ta shuwa da ozire se maso sam dinde chine kola pe dinde tudu la en korange dus ta thangbo tongba tendan dila ta chigi yore dila ko dingne pa do chane na anya kola khasa del dinde dukja che ti ko nga khar ku che ma so kharina sam khona ngo chaya da yan che ne ta khasa de yang gyo che ma thon de la dil chik su su ngo chaya da shu ji da ya ju da to chi da jin ba chu ru yu ke ma tu ba ina ra shen yin ba yin du la ngo chaya dinde da dinde le res da 원데 인디 아니 심게 띵메다 가산디 고 딘데 체 고 장란 동이디 임버스스 하고에는 딜라 탑 개바체 고란레 닝지기 고 딘데 딱와 체데는 아니 요사 마레 고 대와 톱사 마레 고 상게 공반 톱사 마레 삼니 수수기지 탑 개바체네 라데야 요레스
yes, so this one is really good question, and like so the like whenever someone out of envy treats me unfairly with scolding, insulting, and more, may I accept the loss upon myself and offer the victory to others, right? This one is the 5th verses. So like we have to like whenever someone does bad thing for you, we have to like consider ourselves as offering that victory for the others. And like for example, like if someone like hits you, if you don't really react to that person will get like questions like, I hate him really bad, but then why he doesn't really respond to me in bad way? So in some way he will like get that kind of question, and he will like started to think about it. And then like of course, like if you leave it that person in for like many like let him be like how he is, like beating around everyone, then like it is not so good. But then like you have to try to cultivate love and compassion to that person by thinking that although just like all of us who wants happiness, since he is doing that kind of bad deeds, he won't be able to achieve the ultimate happiness. So like try to find a very good way to like change that person.
다 근데 인디 어느 원딜라 직 수수기다 팀다 시샤진 라제 저기도 슝데다 기히마레스 하실라는 콜라 라테네 코란 숨깁 치고라 인들라 디 수수 주치쇼 가지 수수 공포다 시당아 제마기 콜라 참바기 꿀lum기 네 라테 제말랑가텔라 만도체 어디 지야데 슝데다 된다 기히마레스
The Rahandito.
근데 그냥 뒤직 두지야 근데 말이야 근데 팀데스게나 그냥 팀간로 도고도 뒤치샤라네 조단 줘라 원디 꼭 퀴갸베가 쳐도 운동당으로 때 그냥 근데 직 제인신에 그냥 대화톱스 말에 그러니까 뒤나 그냥 동이 기게스 군ung 디자네 아니 수수 공마초네 참바제베 두스라테제 팀시자 줘야디기 근데 기 슝데다 기기 말레스
So like, by cultivating your love and compassion to that person and try to talk with that person, like after some times when he is in good states and like try to, if he's doing so much bad things and if he needs to go to, like, for example, in prison, then you have to talk to that person and according to the rules and regulation, and he will take it, I think.
아니 원들래 직삼단지를 가도 있나래 나란조 아니 쿠주부 독자치기도 쿠직치기도라는 가도 있나 간족이 저외나로를 망고시지 파내 칼로니 직 디치야주레스 디 중나 잡 중나 빙용용 지고레스 갈라나 얘기 선배 가르치기도 얘 나가 가르치기도 얘 루가 가르치기도 뉴모끼기도 왜면데 수수 la tsui ta gore me pa manguji ta we na an dile su su tu tamba kale khawa khongtro di sangmo kyore me sho pento che yo mares di tu de su su rangela su su lu nga yi su na tsui tan to we na pe keben so res.
So like we all like, always try to like, we always like, sometimes find other person. Like, he is doing that thing, or she is doing that thing. But then rather than spending that time on how other persons are doing, I think it is better to like spend time on yourself, like how your mind is working. And like, it is more beneficial for you rather than examining what others are doing. But, if you like try to, oh, she's doing that, then he's doing that, then in that way, like you will cultivate hatred to that person, right? Jealousy and other negativity emotions. And this is not so good, and it is more of like waste of your time, but then it is better for you to spend that time for yourself.
원들래 엔도타니 디 테오디 피 개침보다 아니지 단대 투줄을 디페 nenga chimbo 통고도 원딘디 연교 디갈랑아레 직직 누비ያን 만족이 미 가르치웨나 디 논두레 아니지 디 망보직 디 지야 되라 이 미세게 다나테고도 가르네 나레기 고돌래야 아리나로라 직다 제가 치료 개가라 가르치는 줄 내가 지도 추추추라 라자라고야다 엔직 라초고야 요리시도 디인디 돈줄라 아니지 가래 비 라초 연도 야부지고 당한 저기 주주 망고시지 밀려 파단제 고직치기도 고니치기도 콜로니모기기도 고딘데치기도 주주 수지 미기치도 당겨래 딜란 라제라고 말했어 수수야 쓰면 막기고 차고레스 디마제 수수기 생기 시딘데 잠반인지 세워 경우야 디야베 추주고레스
So like for another example is that like in Western here in United States we get like certain pay for like certain like time, right? But then like for example like we get like we might get like $10 for like 1 hour. We have that kind of sad things, right? But then like yes, like if you spend that kind of like time by thinking about what others are doing, then just like I have said you before, like we will like cultivate all those hatred and all those negativities for that person, and it is more of like waste of time.
아니 원딘데 갑시다야 다 단다 고랑 저던데 고랑 미 소연한 딘데 기기 여러 원딘데 아니 캔시 기랑 게 탑시 간데 제베나래 쿨라 핑긴 빈 아니 코샤슈 케요 마레스 베나 게세 시월레 소요레스라 게티 쮸스 요나 딜레 메가 차지유 게티 쮸스 메나 딜레 메가 제지 페라네 그랑기 직탑시도 진에 고란라 펜도 두기 요나 아니 그랑기 딜레 직다 메가 왔다 딘데 심 투네 초요 마레스 계세야 디 진에게 펜도 계세 요에나 아니 가고 근데 두고 말어 와고 제시는 되기로 와 베나 가란수에나 미실레 첼레게네 아니 미 찬동 알아도 데 친일레야 간주 첼레기하고 말했어 수수디 마체네 되기로 왔어 아니 미직다 연대 수지 윤예 sembo 수지일레야 간주 뭐 코야가라 코 든데 시샬라네 칸네 시하고 말했으라 Halen susu di chena tiki doa susu le di chena vasangores. Wondi na shires.
So like your question is really good, and like you might have like faced that kind of person in your like life, in your at that time, like if you try to help that person to get like better, but then if that person doesn't really change, then you can just leave it as he or she is. And we have like one saying from Shantideva, which goes like, if a problem can be solved, what reason is there to be upset? If there is no possible solution, what use is there in being sad? So you can just leave that person if he doesn't really change after trying so much for that person to change.
Yeah, tushi.
Thank you.
Andrew, you can be Lions Roar ambassador to the White House in January. Thank you. So let's do dedication. While we're doing that, people can get formed in a kata line. How's that? So Betty, will you lead dedication?
Warm gaps.
Oh,
Warm.
Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish but increase more and more. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful Chandravik Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. May the teachings of the Buddha flourish, and may the upholders of the teachings remain forever. May all migrators achieve happiness, and may they fulfill all their temporary and ultimate goals. Lo Song, magical display of the deep awareness of all the victorious ones, merciful giver of a stream of profound and vast instructions to the fortunate migrators, please remain always unperishing, unchanging, unfading. Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of objectless compassion. Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom. Vajrapani, destroyer of the entire host of Mars. Sankapa, crown jewel of the snowy land sages. Losang Drakpa, and make requests at your holy feet. George, praise it.
Om Mani
Padme
Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Oh, thank you. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om.
Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Padme Hum. Om Mani 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 Padme Hum. Om Padme Hum. Om Mani Hum. Om Mani Padme 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 Hum. Ni Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Geshema, I'd like to invite you to become a member of Lions Roar Dharma Center. Uh, and the benefits of membership are great. Don't you agree? So maybe then Lions Roar can become a member of Jangchub Choeling. What do you think? Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lamala, for offering me becoming the member of this Sangha. And you all are really appreciated, and we also welcome all of you to Anandri. Yeah.
Perfect.
You all can be a member of Anandri too. Yeah.
So we will all be going to the dojo to practice in Dakini dance, followed by lunch. See you in a minute.
Omo araya pacaya na indi Om araya